What was it like to sort of go back in time and revisit a particular part of your life?
Well, it was a particular part of Graham's life, actually. So it was fine, actually. No, it was. I kind of felt it was very easy and natural to hear Graham's voice again, and it just felt like he'd just walked out of the door. Really, it was just so. It wasn't too bad.
So when you recorded the scenes where like you and old tapes of him were interacting, did they play them back for you so you had to have that virtual conversation time?
I can't remember doing that, but I think they must have played it back a little bit, but
Yeah.
but it basically was me and Mike doing the parents, Graham's parents,
Right.
And Terry Gilliam was in the studio as well. So there were the three of us there, so recording, and I think obviously Graham must have, when we were talking about it, yes, interacting with him.
So when you first found the tapes, was this the kind of first idea for the film, or did you hash around different ways that you could adapt it?
Well, it wasn't me. It was Bill and Ben and actually Jeff, who co-directs the film, was planning to make a documentary about Graham Chapman for TV, and he discovered that he was interviewing David Sherlock, who's Graham's partner, and David mentioned as he was leaving the thing, he said he'd recorded the tape of the audio book, and so Jeff got hold of the tape and was going to turn it into a documentary, and then Bill and Ben said, well, why don't we do an animated feature of it? And he said, oh, I've never thought about that. So the three of them that's how the three of them directed it, came together, and
Is there any thought of, when I came away from the film, I enjoyed it, the animation and the sort of whimsy of it. But for fans who maybe want something not so inside look, maybe something looking back, a real biopic.
Right, yeah.
And if that biopic was made, not a liar's
Yeah,
biopic,
yeah.
how would it have been different, and what kind of tone would that film be in
Ooh.
your eyes for somebody you knew?
Yeah, I think it would be pretty quiet, because I think Graham was a bit of a mystery to anyone who knew and worked with him. I don't think we ever. I was saying to you, Richard, I don't think we ever felt like we knew him. But he was capable of flashes of genius, really, and so that's not answering your question, but I think it would be very pedestrian. I think.
Well, David Sherlock said that his favorite moment of the film is a brief bit of tape that Graham Chapman's in the studio doing the audio dubbing for one of the films, and he laughs. And he said that's the only part of the movie where Graham's not performing, where he's just being himself. And he goes, "That's the laugh I heard around the house."
Oh, really? Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
because and I think it's the most sort of unaffected, natural part of this. Because even in the film clips that we see, every part of it is a performance, and it's not really the real Graham Chapman.
No, it's absolutely
Graham Chapman with the pipe and a pint in his hand.
No, it's absolutely true.
And he's not black. We're clear on that.
He's not black.
And your son is one of the co-directors.
Yeah.
How was that for you, as far as watching your flesh and blood sort of move through a part of your own life and sort of reassuming it and reinterpreting it?
It's it's great actually. I mean, Bill's so easy to work with, and it's just so easy.
Really? Did you feel it's like, because you were his age when you were with the Python? So did you sort of want to, like, oh, don't look at that part of your father's life, I was a scoundrel back then. You know, shield your eyes and ears, son. It's not all pretty, and you might get a different interpretation of dear old dad.
Well, no, it was all about Graham, so that's I escaped. So it wasn't too bad.
I kind of get the sense that with the work that you do now outside of Python, that Python has become a smaller part of your life, and the academic work that you do is more sort of at the forefront. And Python is something that you revisit every now and again, sort of more looking at the legacy. How do you feel about the legacy of Monty Python, and what are your thoughts on, because you've been living with it for so long, how do you feel about the legacy that you left behind with them?
Well,
in 4 words, please. I need a very quick sound bite.
I don't see it as a legacy, really. I mean, I just can't see it. I know people talk about it, but you know, I have no idea what impact we had on comedy.
Was it because you were in a bubble when it was happening? You were just working so much that
I think so, and also it was like we were wondering whether anybody was going to laugh at it. I mean, the very first show we did, John came behind Mike Palin and said, "Oh, do you realise, Mikey, that we may be doing the only television show that nobody ever laughs at?" And I think that's what we had an audience of old age pensioners who thought they were going to come and see a circus, and I think Graham and I were doing the first sketch we recorded was the flying sheep sketch. And I think there wasn't a lot of reaction to it. Bewildered pensioners. I think that's what prompted John's remark. And also that we were sort of so terrified that nobody would laugh, because when we did the Holy Grail, we showed it to an audience of investors, I think, and they laugh about the first 5 minutes, and then total silence and absolute silence for the whole of the film. It was the worst night of my evening of my life, and so and then I thought, well, I remembered when we'd done Now for Something Completely Different, which Ian McNaughton had directed. We'd done the sketch about a dirty fork. Somebody complained about a dirty fork, and nobody laughed at the scene in the film version. And I realised that Graham and Ian had put on Muzak over the thing, and I thought maybe that's ironing everything out. So we took the Muzak off, and then everybody laughed at it. So I thought maybe the same thing's happening with the Holy Grail. That we had such a thick soundtrack of atmosphere, wind, and bird song, and clothing rustle, and footsteps, and stuff like that. That maybe that's filling in all the comedy timing. So I went through the whole film again, and basically sort of kept everything up until anybody spoke, and then took it all out, and then push it back in at the end of the scene. But then by that time we were so nervous about the film, having had this searing experience, that we saying to people, we'd show it to friends and like 20 at a time or something like that, and we'd say, we're a bit worried about our film. Can you come and watch it and see what you think? And so they'd come in and they'd say, well, it's all right, yes. I don't think you should worry about it, but they didn't laugh really. So, and the first time we had an audience that laughed was in Los Angeles when Terry Gilliam and I came over for a film festival, and that time we didn't have time to take everybody on to tell them we were worried about our film.
But it seems like the Python sense of humor is one of those things that you sort of have to, your brain has to adjust to it. It's not one of those, it's not the prefab sitcom kind of like ba-dum-bum and the punchline. Yeah. It's a completely abstract intellectual exercise. And do you feel that you can sort of take credit for it now, that you sort of rearranged a bit of the pop culture funny bone? Do you feel that you can take ownership of that, or are you too humble a man?
That's the question I meant to ask. Oh, so thank you.
I don't know.
Did you realize that you were pushing the bounds of it? You must have, given that you were like sitting there and thinking nobody's laughing at what we put out there.
I thought we'd probably do the funniest TV show around, and I was aware at the time that this was the make or break moment, and so I was very keen to get a different format to, so that's why I came up with the sketches flowing into each other idea, and also I insisted on editing the shows with Ian McNaughton, and then the other Pythons would come in and see the show at the end of the day. I'd always bring Ian up and say, when are we editing? And there'd be a silence and, Thursday, but we've only got 2 hours, we've only got 2 hours. And of course we'd spend the whole day editing, and because but it got easier actually. I mean, the first series was a bit sort of like, I'm just having to tell Ian, so no, I think we should go over that again, edit that again. And of course in those days you had to edit, it was very difficult to edit tape because you had to get it up to speed and then click over to have two machines going, so they had to be in sync, and oh dear, it was very complicated.
But the structure actually, the structure actually helped that, and it seems that the whole the central nugget of what comedy, the Python brand is that there are these gaps, there are these loops, there's this juxtaposition, this sort of montage element that, and now for something completely different, if it had followed in any linear narrative, the absurdity isn't really there until you actually do have this sort of edited, one thing slapping up against the next. There's this demand upon the viewer to create the leaps, to create the connections. Was that something that came out of your, like...
Well, no, we tried to get a flow into the TV shows, so one thing would lead into another, and I got that from Spike Milligan actually, from his Q4 shows, and so he'd have one sketch turning into something totally different, and I thought we could marry that with with Terry Gilliam's animation.
I was curious, with projects like this, or Holy Flying Circus from last year, that sort of comment on the legacy and also try to recreate the humor, are you guys sort of involved with that and sort of protective of making sure it sort of stays true to what you guys created?
Well, no, I mean, I think we sort of got a limited amount of interest in it, actually. Yeah, I'm sorry. What was the Holy Flying Circus?
The one that was about the controversy of Life of Brian.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's great. No, I thought that was wonderful, actually. I thought it was a really funny show, and I think that was very Pythonic in its essence. It was going off onto flights of fantasy, and I thought it was great, actually.
talking about terrified that no one would laugh.
Yeah.
To get back to this film, were you going for laughs? And if not, what were you going for? What was...
Well, you have to ask my son really that, because it's because he did the film, so I had nothing to do with it. So I can't say. But I think they've done a great job actually. I think it was pretty funny actually. I love the monkeys.
The monkeys, the formation of Monty Python as monkeys is very funny.
Yeah.
What do you think Graham would think of the film?
I think he'd be very pleased with it actually. Yeah, I think it sort of. It captures his essence, really. And
so what essence of him? What does it capture?
Well, it captures his oddness and looniness and a little bit of the mystery, actually. I don't think you ever... He was kind of an enigmatic character, and I don't think you know... I think you were saying, he was acting all the time, so.
Hiding behind props like the pipe and the whole thing. It struck me just from things that I've read that he wasn't, I think, like Peter Sellers, never really comfortable in his skin enough to just be himself.
No, absolutely
so
right.
When you read the book initially, then did you learn a lot about him that he'd never really opened up to you before?
No, I don't think you do learn about him. I think it's all a pose, it's all and he wrote it with four other people, so he was going for the laughs, I think.
Fair enough. And is it easy to pull everyone together for projects like this now, or are you still sort of all in your separate areas?
No, it's hard. Terry Gilliam's off shooting something in Romania at the moment, and John Cleese is in Monaco avoiding paying English tax.
Getting married again.
Yeah, getting married again, Never learns.
Michael Palin's the new book.
Sorry?
Has a new book out.
What?
Doesn't Palin have a new novel coming out?
Oh The Truth, yes.
Are you still closest with Palin?
I think we're good friends, and he lives about 20 minutes walk away from me.
Okay.
And Terry Gilliam lives 5 minutes up the road, so